continuous professional development platform that's new. The shorthand for that one is CPD, because sometimes those three words can be quite a mouthful, especially first thing in the day. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the login page. When you arrive on this page, you will have the login like this, and prior to the system going live, you will all be provided with a username and a password so that you're able to log in for the first time. When you arrive in the system, you will arrive on a landing page, which we call your dashboard. On this page, it will greet you and use your name and provide you with a little bit of information around where you are. So it will say who you are logged in. So this particular test user that I am showing you today is called provider test. Gives us a little bit of information just to make sure we know that we're in the right user, we're logged into the right place. It also provides you with an overview of any courses that you run that have been set up in the system for you, a list of any upcoming events, so the dates on which you would be running those courses, and a link through to the public register in case you ever need to see any details relating to any of the electrical workers who sign up for one of your courses. There's a handy link here so that you can go through, search for them, and view all of the details relating to them on the public register. Now, of course, today I'm showing you the test system because we have not gone live yet. So we'll just keep that in mind as we go through. That does mean that we will have a few bits of test information that are out of date that have been used to just make sure that everything is working as expected. It also means that some of the pages take a little bit longer to load than they will in the final version. So as we start from here, were there any initial questions around the dashboard or anything like that? Okay, I can just see one message in the chat. We'll check there. Perfect. That's just Karen saying if you've got any questions, feel free to use the chat functionality.
Just a quick question, Jo. I've logged in and obviously you can hear me, but there's no video. How do I get the video working so that I can actually see everyone?
That is unusual. Okay, I'm sharing my screen at the moment. Can everybody else see my shared screen?
What do you call your shared screen? The one I can see, the one where you've got your logged in user, etc.
Oh,
but I can't see anything else.
Okay, yes. At the moment, I have got the system up on the page, so you won't be able to see any of the other users at this point because I'm showing you the system. At the end of showing you through all of this, I'll turn off that, so you won't see that anymore, and you'll be able to see everybody else that's in the meeting as well.
Okay, and will I be able to turn on my video screen as well, or? Yes,
you'll be able to do that at that point, yeah. At the moment, because we're going through the system, we've kind of got all of that stuff hidden away in the background.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, I'll just go mute again.
Perfect. Okay, so from here, I will take you through to one of the course pages. Now, we have got a little bit of a difference in terminology here that I think I'll just talk you through first. Courses can be set up and they can remain set up basically forever in perpetuity. So you don't have to set them up each time you're running a course, you know, so if you run one once a month, you don't have to go through and set up the whole course once a month. The course itself is just a description of exactly what's provided. So if you run the same course once a month, you can set up the course once and then add an event to it to say, this one's happening on the 20th of September, 20th of October, 20th of November, or whichever dates you are using. So if you run the same course over and over again, you only need to have one course page, and each time you're going to be doing it, you just add an event. So I'll take you through to one of our course templates. This one is pretty bare at the moment, but it gives you an idea of what information you can add to this. Now, with the course pages themselves, we will be creating these for you initially. So you'll send through information to us that we will be able to include on this page. So for here, you can see at the moment, we've got a placeholder where we can pop a logo for you. We've also got a little bit of information through here in terms of what we can add to this page. We can add things like the cost, what the cost covers, what the course covers, how people sign up for the event. So if you want them to sign up in this portal, they can. Or if you want them to sign up on your own website, they can also do that, and we can make that information very clear here as to where they need to go next. And you can provide some general introduction information to it. So that's the kind of general feel for the page. It's an overview of, we're running this course, this is what it covers, here's who should attend, here's how to sign up, here's how much it will cost. So that's the general page itself for a course. Down the bottom of the course page, we have events, which say, when is this going to happen? So as you can see here, I've got a couple of test events set up, one for the 23rd of September and one for the 30th. And you can see here that 5 people have signed up for the one on the 30th. At this stage, were there any questions about this general course page?
This is the page that registered electrical workers are going to come to try to find a provider, is that right?
Yes, so this provides more detail. If they're wanting to find a provider overall, they can go to Find Courses.
These will all be in one website though, won't they?
Yes, they will. So they can go to Courses and select to find them by their region.
And this website's going to have an easier to remember name than what you've got up there, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Yep. This is what we call our staging platform. So this is where we like run it as a dry run. The final one will be much easier to remember. For practitioners, there will be a link available through their online licensing portal that will link them straight here. So that'll be nice and easy for them to find. And there will also be guidance on our website, which provides them with links through to where they need to go. So this is where a practitioner would look for courses. When they come into it, they can look at all of the ones that are available. As you can see at the moment, we've got a couple of test ones in there that we're running through a couple of scenarios. They can also filter these by region, depending on where they are, what works best for them. And they can also filter by if there's a specific one for their class. So if you're running a course and it's applicable for all classes, we add all of these. If it's only applicable to a couple, then we add a couple. Just enables them to have a little bit more functionality there. So when they clicked into a particular course to see what's all this about, they would be able to see this information in terms of what it covers, how to sign up, what the cost is, and then a little bit of detail around when it's next going to happen, which for our electrical workers can be really important, because if they've got a renewal date coming up soon, they'll be looking for something that's happening sooner rather than later. And this just allows them a little bit of flexibility in terms of when's the next one happening.
The booked number you've got down there, where does that come from? And where does that information go to?
Perfect. So within the system, each of our electrical workers will have a login to the system. If you as a provider choose to allow it, they will be able to book into an event within the system using their login details. Their login details are linked through to their licensing. So if you choose to let them book through this system, you can say, we've got 10 spaces here, I'll open it up and anybody can book into it. From there, they'd be able to come in, select to go to the event, and then they'd be able to sign up here by just selecting the sign up button. They can also pop in requests if there was any information that they needed to give you or ask of you at that stage.
So if they sign up at this point, are they paying at this point?
No, so we don't have any payment functionality within the system. Payments will be run as you choose to run them. So if you choose to want people to do a bank transfer or a credit card, or you have a separate system for that, then we can include all of that information on this page under cost in terms of here's how much it costs and here is how you will pay.
Well, so you've reserved 5 of those 10 places on that second course there.
Yes.
And they may not have even paid. So they could actually book out a course without even paying. So
they could, yes, but you also have the power to remove that booking if you choose. So because this is your course, you have the power to say, okay, these 5 people have booked in, I'm going to contact them. And if you were coming up and let's say you were checking in on them, you know, this Friday, you could say, actually, you haven't paid yet. I'm going to cancel your booking. So you do have the power to be able to remove that booking as well.
So I've got a question along a similar line. We just do our programs for our staff in-house.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to be required to book into our course this way, or can we add them as attended later?
Perfect question there, Rob. I was just going to come on to that. You do also have the option to not allow any bookings through the system, and you can add them to, you can, you know, collect a list of people who are going to attend your course, for example, if they're in-house, or if you have a separate system that you're using and that you would prefer to continue to use. You can go into an event here, and we'll use this one as an example. You can select attendees, and this would only work on one of your own ones. And then we can go add users by a list of IDs. So this functions using their electrical worker identifiers. Those are all available on the public register if people aren't sure. You can add in a list like that. Make sure it's listing by username there. Select continue. And it will automatically get all of their details there. It can send them booking confirmations if you needed to. In this case, we'll select not. And then just select confirm. And now, oh, sorry, we've had an error there. That's okay. That is because I'm in this particular version of the system. But then that would add those 5 people into that event, and you wouldn't need them to log in or book in through the system. This particular system. They would, of course, still need to let you know.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
All good. So using this one here on the 30th as an example, we can go through and basically just have a look at exactly what that event looks like. This one has been pre-created by myself. So you can see here, I've got 5 people booked in. The bookings are still open at this point in time, haven't closed them, but you can choose if you want to close things early. And you can see a little bit of detail around the time and the location that you're using for that. In the attendees tab, you can see everyone who's signed up, and I know why I had that error before, and that's because I had signed them up already to attend on the 30th, so it wasn't going to let me do it again for them so soon after I had already done that there. So you can see here, it gives you a bit of detail around them. It also provides you with their electrical worker number, which is called the practitioner ID here. And it lets you know if there are any requests that come through. From here, you can also download a sign-in sheet. So if you're running a course and you want people to sign in on the day, you can say, I want a sign-in sheet for this one. Can you give it to me as PDF? And then download it. And then you can print it off and have people sign in as you need to. Perfect. I can see we've got a couple more questions that have come through in the chat. So I will just have a look here. Daniel asked, will you be sent a user guide? Yes, you'll definitely be sent a user guide. We're running these sessions prior to sending it to you, so that if there are any questions that come up in here that we want to, you know, add a bit more detail in the user guide, we can do that so that you've got everything that you need. So that will be coming later on this week. Okay, so from here at the moment, you can see that I can't take attendance on this because the event has not yet occurred. But if you needed to, there are, leave that there because I've.
How does that message users contact them? Is that a text message or is that an email?
It's an email. So that goes through the email address that they've used on their logins. So
when they log in, do they provide their cell phone address number as well?
So their cell phone number or contact detail will be available. It sends it from our licensing platform to this platform, and it says, hi, this is the person, here's their contact details. For example, let's use Matilda. You can click on the user's name here and see a little bit of information around them. And if they had provided a phone number, it would appear here. At the moment, Matilda hasn't provided us with a phone number, so nothing is showing. And that's because we've got, of course, a bunch of test users. But yes, their phone numbers can be provided within their profiles. but also if you wanted to, within your course itself, you could say, when you sign up in your request for session organizer section, please add your contact detail, just like a phone number, so that we are more easily able to get in touch with you. So that's what it looks like when you're going through. If you wanted to add an attendee, you can add them either by searching for them. We also have a CSV file upload, which if you've got a bulk one and you wanted to learn how to do that, we'll provide more guidance on later. And then you've also got adding users via a list of their IDs, which are these ones here. You can also remove users. So if you wanted to, you can go in and say, look, Matilda hasn't paid, so I'd like to remove her. And then you can click continue. Perfect. So we can say here that we want to cancel them, and you can add in a note saying non-payment and select confirm. So if you were coming up to your event and somebody had not paid you and you really wanted to remove them from the course because, you know, if they haven't paid, you want to make that space available for others, you have got the option to do that here. So that's if you're using the practitioner signing themselves up through this system. Of course, if you've signed up the practitioners yourself, you can do the exact same process again. And in here, you can see now the cancellations tab has become active, so we can see that itself. Perfect. So that kind of runs us through a little bit of the basics there. I will take you back to our course page and show you what it looks like when we've got a course that has happened in the past. To find courses that you had previously run, so things that aren't in the future, you can just select View All Events. And then you can see here that we've got some past sessions, as well as the upcoming ones. So you can see here that this one is over. And if I wanted to go in and say, actually, I had 5 people attend that I signed up outside of the system, I can go in and add attendees here by clicking the 3 dots and selecting attendees. And then if I wanted to do adding users by a search, you can do so here. So for this one, let's add in a few users just so that we can show you how it works when you are taking attendance. And then click continue. We don't need to send them any confirmations because we know that they've already attended.
Do we need to add our course records through this system like that?
In terms of like people attending and everything?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Can you upload a CSV file or something?
Yes, we can. We do have the functionality to do that, and there will be more guidance provided on that, but it's exactly in the same location. You go into attendees.
Incredibly slow if we have to do it per person.
No, exactly. Yeah. So there are 3 different ways here that you can do it. You can add them one by one if you were searching for somebody. You can do a file upload. CSV is definitely preferred. And you can do a list of IDs, which is what I showed you earlier. I'll just bring that one up again. It looks like this, and then you just add in the electrical worker number as you go. So for example, you can paste in a list and you just go that enter, that enter, that enter, and then select continue.
So just to be clear, this is how we're going to upload the records of who's been on a course then?
Yes.
So this is replacing that EWRB one that you log in with your RealMe?
Yes. And
it's also replacing the one where how they find out about the courses. So it's replacing those 2 websites with one effectively.
Yes, and this provides a bit more of an interactive experience for them in terms of how that works. And this one also links up with our licensing platform to ensure that their information is kept up to date as well. So when you submit the attendance here, it pushes it back to our licensing area and says, yep, they have what they need to renew their license, for example. And I can see here we've got another question here. Yep, Sue has just added into the chat. We're definitely still keeping the website list, which lists all of the providers. That will still definitely be available, and people can contact you completely outside of this and request a book in. And if you are happy with them doing that outside of the system, that's absolutely fine. you can keep operating as you once did. But if you are wanting to tell us who has attended your courses and upload that information to us, this is where that will need to happen.
So that page that Susan was just mentioning, is that going to have a link to this page?
I believe that the intention is, to make this page available for users within their licensing portal. So there will be guidance on the website that will say, hi, if you're wanting to sign up for this, you need to go to here. I'm not sure whether it's going to be a direct link here or whether it will just go through to the licensing platform, which guides them here as well. And I can see we've got another question from Kylie. Once they book a course, does it link to their calendar and send them a calendar invite? So it will show up when they log in. So they also have a dashboard quite similar to yours in some ways, which will show any upcoming events that they've signed up for. And there is an option there that if they wanted to add it to their iCalendar, I believe is the option when they sign up, they can do that. It doesn't fully integrate, of course, with, all of the different providers of calendar.